Lesson 4 is about decision making. Computers make decisions based on answers to either true or false or yes or no questions. For example, in a coin flip game, the question is, does the player's guess match the coin toss? To answer the question, you compare the guess and the toss. If they match, the player wins. Otherwise, they lose. So let's go ahead and look at an example. We're going to compare two variables, A and B, and we're going to ask a number of questions about these variables. And these questions are going to all be true or false or yes or no questions. Let's go ahead and set A to 20. And let's make B a user input variable. And let's run this code. Let's make B 25. If I print A is 20. So let's ask if A is less than B. Now this is going to give an error, but is an important error to appreciate. Hit enter, and there's the error. What this error is saying is one of these variables is an integer and the other is a string. Comparing integers and strings is not supported. So what is an integer? An integer is just a number. You can use it in mathematical calculation. It's a whole number. A string is a text. It is like a word. And you see numbers can be read as if they're text by the computer. So the computer is seeing one of those numbers not as a real number that can use in calculation. It's reading it as if it's a text. So what we have to do now is to take that number and convert it into an integer. So which of these numbers is it? It's going to be B. B is the string. Why? Because all input variables are strings. So let's add a code to instruct the computer. Don't read this as a string. Let's read it as an integer. Very simple code. B is equal to int for integer B. So it's going to take that old B, this B here, and it's going to change it to a new B that's an integer. So let's run this again. And now we're going to keep B as 25 and let's print A again. So there's our A. So let's ask our question. Now look how we pose questions in a computer language. We're going to just say A is greater than B. That is the question in Python. Hit return. And it's a false. The computer is saying no, A is not greater than B. All right, let's ask if A is less than B. True, A is less than B. And you can ask a bunch of other questions. You can ask if A is greater than or equal to B. You can ask if it's less than or equal to B. You can ask if A is not equal to B. And that's true. It's not equal to B. Notice the not equal to sign in your math class is an equal sign with a slash across it. But in Python, it's an exclamation mark followed by an equal. So we can ask all these questions. Let's ask if A is equal to B. A equal B. Notice I'm using the same format. This is not going to work for the equal, but I want to show it to you again because it's important for you to appreciate this. Enter. First of all, you notice that there is no output. That's not a question. When you use a single equal sign, you're replacing the value that is currently in A with a new value. So if I want to print A now, you'll get 25. So it means that A has changed from 20 to the value of B, which is 25. Because a single equal sign means change the value of that variable. So in Python, they use a double equal sign. A is equal to double equal to B. And that's a question. Is A equal to B? And now it's going to say true. So far, we've been writing most of the code in the output panel. Let's go ahead and clear this panel. Let me show you how to put that code into your program. We have the input for B, the value for A, and now we want to compare those values. We use what is called an if statement. If, followed by the question, A equal B, followed by a colon. If A is equal to B, do something. What do? Print A equal B. Hit return. Notice that after the if statement in line 5, the line is indented. After the print statement, we want to go back out. What happens if A is not equal to B? And we'll put in an else statement. Else print A and B are not equal. Now let's run this and see how it goes. So A is 20. Let's say B is 20 as well. So A equals B. Let's run it again. And this time we're going to give B a different value. Let's say B is 30. A and B are not equal. Let's do another one. Hit return. Else. Let's run it and see. Let's give B 20. A equals B. A is not greater than B. So you can see now you can go through and you can keep putting in different questions following an if statement. Important thing to note, and I will stress this again, is after the if statement, there has to be a colon. Also after the else, there should be a colon as well. Whenever you have a colon, you're going to have indentation. The indented line is still part of that if or else statement. If you want to get out of that, you hit return, use the backspace to move back out. So now we've gone over all the major concepts for this lesson. What I want to do now is go into the lesson assignment and just give you some pointers on how to complete the assignment. Again, task 1 is the same as all the other lessons. So is task 2. You're going to have a different video and a different quiz, but they're the same. And then you have this coding assignment. That's the main part I want to talk about. You're going to copy all of this red code here, Control C, and I'm going to go into my Replit and Control V to paste. First thing I'm going to do is just run this program so you can see what it does. It's a heads or tails game. H for heads, T for tails. What is your guess? I'm going to say heads. So the output now is, I guess head. The coin flip was tails. I lost. Let's run it again. I'm going to say heads again, but this time I'm going to use a lowercase h. I guess heads. Coin flip was heads. I won. Very simple game. Run it again. I'm going to say tails. Tails, tails, I won. Run it again. I'm going to say tails with a lowercase t. Tails, heads, I lost. Run it again. I'm going to put something other than H and T. Just put some random stuff there. You enter JKKL. This is not an option. Run again and enter either H or T. Game over. Now you see what it does. Now, how does it flip the coin? Well, it flips it randomly. So what you have to do first is import what in Python is called a module. A module is a complex program. You're basically pulling a program into your program, and it makes your program much more efficient because the random program is so long that you will have like hundreds of lines of code. But instead, you can just pull random into your program and just use its code. So this is what this second line in the code is. Import random. The module is called random, so it's going to pull in the code for that. There are lots of modules in Python. In a sense, you can think of this random module as a function, but it's a function with built-in function in it also. So for example, there's this random integer function, randint, which is a function within the random module. What I want you to do is you're going to have a series of different questions as you read through this. So after here, you're going to run the program. You're going to do each of these steps. And most of it is just reflecting on what's happening. I just want you to think about what's happening in the code. There's nothing for you to write. There's nothing for you to actually report to me. I want you to learn this code. And I give you some guided questions and some guided tasks to do. You will see that we have if and else statements here. We're using an input function here. We're also using this upper function, not equal to question. The \n, what does that do? My variables are all in black. Okay. And of course, all those variables are defined up here. So we have flip1, flip, guess1, guess. Once you're done with this code that you copied into you're now going to write your own code. Now this is what I'm going to be grading. So write a program with as many lines as you need that does the following. It should randomly generate a number between 5 and 10. It should ask the user to input their name. It should ask the user to guess a number between 5 and 10. It should check whether the user's guess is a number between 5 and 10. I give you a hint there. And check whether the user's guess matches the computer random number. And then you should have an output that includes the user's name in all caps, print whether they won or lost, and print game over, followed by the values of all variables on the next output line. So remember, the variables are going to be flip1, flip, guess1, and guess. They're all in black. And that's it.